The elevator doors slid open on the 42nd floor, revealing a tiny girl clutching a wrinkled folder and wearing shoes that were slightly too big for her feet. Her hair was tied into two uneven ponytails, and her eyes soft, scared, but determined to scan the huge office lobby. Behind her, the secretary rushed from her desk. "Sweetheart, you're not supposed to be up here," she said gently. "Where's your mom or dad?" The girl took a shaky breath. "Mom's sick," she whispered. "So broken bar I came instead." The secretary blinked, confused. Instead of what? Instead of answering, the girl held up the folder. "Mom had a job interview today. She really needed it, but she couldn't get up this morning. So I thought a broken bar maybe I could come tell the boss myself, so he won't think she didn't care." Before the woman could speak, a deep voice cut through the lobby. "What's going on here?" Both turned. At the end of the hall stood Victor Hale, the Shah, tall, intimidating, sharply dressed, the kind of man who filled a room before he even walked into it. His presence made grown executives shrink a broken bar, yet the little girl didn't back away. "She came alone," the secretary explained quickly. "Says her mom is sick." Victor approached slowly, studying the child. "How old are you?" 8, she said, clutching the folder tighter. "My mom told me to be brave, so I am." For the first time in years, Victor felt something tug deep inside him, a memory. He thought Victor had grown accustomed to people entering his office with fake smiles, polished lies, and rehearsed lines. But this little girl, she had walked in with trother raw, fragile, and full of hope. "Can I ask you something?" Victor said, leaning forward. "Why did you come alone? Isn't there someone who could stay with your mom?" "We don't really have anyone," Lily admitted. "Mom works at a laundry shop. I stay with her there after school. She always says things will get better if she keeps working hard." Victor's jaw clenched. He had once been Nikita, the son of a struggling single mother who passed away far too soon. He remembered sitting in a poor clinic waiting room, wishing some Innocence would help. "Did she know you came here today?" he asked gently. "No," Lily whispered. "She was too sick to get out of bed. I left a note. I told her I'd be right back." Victor studied the little girl, her bravery, her innocence, her fierce loyalty. Something inside him cracked open. "Lily," he said after a moment, "would you like to tell me what makes your mom special? Why she should work here?" Lily's face brightened. "She's the hardest worker I know. She never complains. She always helps people. At the laundry shop, even when customers are mean, she still smiles. And she tells me to always be kind, even when life isn't." Victor's throat tightened. He looked away quickly. "And she's smart," Lily added proudly. "She taught herself how to type fast, and she can do numbers in her head super quick. And her words stopped suddenly. Her eyes shimmered. "And she never gives up, not even when she's tired. She always says I'm her reason." Victor took a deep breath, holding back the weight of his own memories. He stood and walked to the window, staring down at the city. Every skyscraper suddenly looked empty, cold, meaningless. "Lily, a broken bar." His voice was quieter now. "Would you like something to eat? You must be hungry." She shook her head. "We need to save money." Victor paused. "But I'm offering." She hesitated and nodded shyly. Minutes later, he returned with cocoa, cookies, and a sandwich from the executive kitchen. Lily ate slowly at first, then faster as hunger overcame politeness. Victor sat watching her, a strange ache forming in his chest. When she finished, she wiped her mouth and said timidly, "Did a broken bar? Did I ruin my mom's chance?" Victor stared at her. "No," he said firmly. "You improved it." Her eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes," he said. "Your mother must be an extraordinary woman to raise someone like you." He headed to his desk and wrote something on a paper. "What's that?" she asked. "This," he said, sliding it across the table, "is a letter guaranteeing your mother a second interview at her convenience, when she feels well enough." Lily gasped, covering her mouth. "And more," Victor added. "Until then, I'm arranging a home health visit for her. Someone to check on her and help if needed." Tears filled Lily's eyes. "Why are you being so nice to us?" Victor gave her the smallest, saddest smile. "Because someone should have been nice to me and my mother, and they weren't. I won't let history repeat itself." Victor walked Lily back to the lobby, one careful step at a time, almost afraid she'd disappear if he blinked too long. The elevator chimed as they approached, but Lily paused, tugging gently at his sleeve. "Mr. Hallie Broken Bar, can I ask you something?" He crouched to her level. "Anything." She bit her lip. "Will you and Broken Bar be mad at my mom because she got sick?" The innocence of the question hit him harder than any boardroom attack ever had. "Of course not," he said instantly. "Getting sick isn't something to be punished for." She nodded slowly, absorbing his words like they were instructions for how the world works. How many times had life taught her the opposite? That hardship was somehow a personal failure? He wanted to take that burden off her tiny shoulders and crush it. "Okay," she whispered. "I just didn't want to make things worse." Victor opened his mouth to answer, but the elevator doors slid open and the secretary rushed toward them. "Oh, thank goodness!" she exclaimed. "Lily, your mother called. She woke up and found your note as she's been worried sick." Lily froze, guilt flashing in her eyes. "Is she mad?" The secretary shook her head. "She was scared, but she's okay now that she knows you're safe." Victor rested a gentle hand on Lily's back. "Let's go," he said softly. "I'll take you both home." The secretary blinked in shock. Executives didn't walk people to elevators, much less drive children home. But Victor Hale wasn't following the rules anymore, and not the corporate ones or the emotional ones. He pressed the button for the ground floor, and as they rode down, Lily leaned slightly against him. He hesitated only a moment before allowing it, placing his hand on her shoulder in a protective gesture he didn't even know he still remembered how to make. Outside, his black luxury car waited by the curb. The driver, confused, hurried to open the door. "No," Victor said quietly. "I'll drive." He couldn't explain it, but something about Lily's presence made him want to do things himself, to be fully accounted for, to not outsource kindness. Lily climbed into the passenger seat, and Victor fastened the seatbelt for her. She smiled nervously as he adjusted it. "You know," she whispered, "you're a lot nicer than people say CEOs are." He let out a surprised laugh. "People say that, huh?" She nodded. "Mom says they're very busy and very serious, and they don't have time for people like us." His smile faded. "Well, a Broken Bar, she's met the wrong ones." As they drove, Victor found himself glancing at Lily more often than the road. She stared out the window, fascinated by the world rushing past the tall buildings, crowded streets, glowing screens. The city looked different when viewed through a child's wonder. After 20 minutes, they pulled into a quiet, struggling neighborhood. Peeling paint, cracked sidewalks, apartments with sagging roofs. Victor's heart clenched. He had lived in a place like this once. Lily pointed. "That's us, the one with the green door." Victor parked and stepped out. Before they reached the door, it swung open. A young woman stood there, exhausted, pale, and breathless, leaning on the door frame for support. Her hair was messy, but her eyes a Broken Bar. Her eyes were striking, soft, worried, full of love that only comes from a mother terrified for her child. "Lily!" she cried, stumbling forward. Lily ran to her. "Mom, I'm sorry, I just wanted to save your interview." Victor watched quietly as Elena knelt, gathering her daughter into a fierce embrace. It was a moment he wished someone had captured, a mother clinging to her last thread of strength, a child clinging to her only anchor in life. "I'm not mad," Elena whispered into Lily's hair, "just scared." "You can't ever leave like that again." Lily nodded, tears streaming. "But Mr. Hale talked to me, and he said you can still have the interview, and he gave you another chance, and he said he'll help you." Elena froze. Slowly, her gaze rose and met Victor's for the first time. Her eyes widened. Recognition, shock, embarrassment, 1,000 emotions collided at once. "You're Broken Bar," she whispered. He nodded. "Victor Hale." She stood quickly, wobbling a little. "Mr. Hale, yeah, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." She went. "I'm so embarrassed. I never would." "Via, stop," he said gently. "You didn't do anything wrong." Her shoulders fell, but she didn't relax. She looked like a person who had been disappointed by every person she ever trusted and was ready for the next blow. "Your daughter is brave," Victor continued softly, "and kind, and she loves you more than anything. That says everything I need to know." Elena swallowed hard. "I know I missed my interview while Broken Bar. I understand. You didn't miss anything," he cut in. "You'll interview again when you're well, and if you're anything like Lily described a Broken Bar, I think you'll do very well." Elena's lips parted, trembling. She looked like she might collapse again, but this time from relief. "Thank you," she whispered. Victor hesitated. Something tugged at him, urging him to say more, to do more, but he reminded himself that this was a professional matter. Feelings complicated things. Except a broken bar, this didn't feel like business. Lily tugged on his sleeve again. "Do you want to come inside? Mom makes the best soup when she's not sick." Elena blushed. "Lily, a broken bar." Victor smiled. "Another time. For now, you should both rest." He stepped back, but Lily held his hand. "Will we see you again?" Victor knelt. "Yes, you will." "And a broken bar, are you gonna help my mom?" He looked directly into her earnest eyes. "I'm not just going to help her. I'm going to make sure she gets a real chance. A fair chance." She blinked, confused. "What's the difference?" He cupped her shoulder. "A real chance means you get the opportunity. A fair chance means no one can take it away." Lily smiled slowly, fully, deeply. He stood and nodded to Elena. "Rest, heal. I'll have someone check in tomorrow." Before she could respond, he turned to go, but Lily suddenly called out, "Mr. Hale." He turned. She ran to him and threw her arms around his waist. A spontaneous, fierce little hug. He froze, then gently held her, closing his eyes for a moment that stretched far longer than intended. "Thank you," she whispered into his coat. She ran back to her mother, leaving Victor standing alone, breathless in a way no board meeting had ever made him. Driving back to his skyscraper office, Victor felt something inside him shift, crack, open. He'd spent years building walls higher than his own buildings, cutting ties, staying distant, avoiding anything that reminded him of the boy he once was. But today, a broken bar. Today a little girl with oversized shoes and oversized courage had walked straight through those walls like they were paper, and he had let her. Late that night, when most of the city slept, Victor sat alone in his penthouse. The lights of the skyline shimmered below, cold and endless. He looked at a framed photograph on his shelf of his mother when he was Lily's age. She had the same tired eyes, the same unstoppable spirit. "If someone had helped you," he whispered to the picture, "maybe things would have been different." His jaw tightened. "I can still help someone like you." And so, he made a decision. Not a business decision, not a PR decision, a human one. He picked up his phone and began typing orders, real ones, powerful ones. Medical care for Elena, financial assistance until she recovered, a guaranteed paid trial period at his company, a scholarship fund in Lily's name, and one more thing. He didn't know why he added it, but he did. Additionally, arrange weekly visits to check on Lily's family. Personally. He stared at the final word, personally. For the first time in years, a broken bar. He wanted to show up for someone. The next morning, the world went on as usual, but for Elena and Lily, a broken bar, everything had changed. And for Victor Hale, broken bar, something inside him had begun to heal, because of one brave little girl who walked into his office and reminded him that kindness is not weakness, it is the most powerful thing in the world.